Well, good afternoon to all of you, Brown Trail family especially, but others of you that regularly join us here and watch the Mark class and all. I wanted to take some time today to kind of bring you up to date on the happenings with the class and some future things and all of that. And I started to try to type this out, and I thought, you know what, this would be a whole lot easier just to talk through it on a video than to try to type it out. So here's what's happening. At the Brown Trail congregation this morning, the elders announced that we are going to be soon adding a midweek service back into our rotation. And what I mean by that is an in-person service at the Brown Trail facility. And so with that, there are going to be some changes in how we've been doing the Mark class. And so I want to bring you kind of up to date on what we're going to do and the whys and wherefores. As far as the Wednesday service, as I understand, the way we're going to try to do that is think Sunday night service, minus, of course, the collection and the Lord's Supper. So it's really going to be not so much a Bible class setting as it is a worship setting. So, we're going to sing and pray and have a sermon, just like in a standard worship assembly. And so because of that, I thought, well, the Mark class is not going to work well in that type of a setting, which I'm perfectly fine with. It's more, it's more of a detail. We're just kind of verse by verse, and sermons are not really laid out that way by design. And so here's what we're going to do with the Mark class. We're going to leave the Mark class as an online only thing, but instead of having that twice a week, we're going to go back to just having it one time a week. And that will allow me on the midweek worship, to do sermons like I normally do on Sundays that are hopefully things that not just adults can benefit from. And so they're going to be laid out. It's not going to be like a Bible class verse by verse study. They're just going to be sermons that I just think that'll work better given the format. So that being said, my sermon plan that I put together at the end of 2019, where, and Brown Trail people know I do this every year, I lay out my sermon titles and the texts from which they will come a year in advance. And well, that sermon plan has pretty much been trashed because this has been a crazy year. I had a leave of absence beginning in January that took me out of the pulpit completely for a while, and then right about the time I was coming back, the virus hit, and so we had shut down our in-person meetings for a while. It was, it's just been chaos. So that sermon plan has pretty much been trashed. And circumstances have changed. And so, so I've kind of been, since I've been back, just kind of going week to week as far as what I've been preaching. And I don't like that. I don't like doing it that way. So what I want to do is, since we're going to have a Sunday morning and a Wednesday evening worship assemblies with sermons, I want to try to put together a sermon plan that will take us through the end of calendar year 2020. And in order to do that takes some time. So with regard to the Mark class, I'm going to suspend the Mark class completely until the week that we begin the midweek service. So that would be the week of September 6th. So for a couple of weeks. What that's going to allow me to do is to take my focus off of doing the Mark classes and focus on putting together this sermon plan. and then getting onto the schedule of dropping the Mark class every week on Sunday afternoons. That's what we're ultimately going to do. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. Instead of Monday night and Wednesday night for the Mark class is now going to drop on Sunday evenings beginning September 6th. And of course, since it's on YouTube and all of that, you don't have to watch it on Sunday night. You can watch it at your leisure. And there may be some other things that are going on Sunday nights, classes and whatnot that others may be doing. I don't want to interfere with that. But so you can watch my Mark stuff whenever. But if there are some who want to have it on Sunday evenings, then you'll have it then. So that's probably, I'm going to be dropping the Mark class on Sunday evenings. We'll still do our regular Sunday morning 10 o'clock service like we have been. Then we'll have the Wednesday night service that we'll have in person at BT. And I think that's it. I wrote myself some notes here. So midweek service should be starting on Wednesday night, September 9th. And that'll be just, standard basic worship assembly, singing, praying, sermon. We're going to continue to do Mark online, but we're taking a break from that for now so I can get my sermon plan for the rest of our Sundays and Wednesdays through the rest of the year. I want to get all of that in place instead of going week to week and trying to figure it out. It's just not, I don't work well that way. So suspending Mark until September 6th, and the next Mark class will be available September 6th. In the meantime, I'll put together a sermon plan for our Sunday mornings and our Wednesday nights. And I guess that's it. So hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, type a comment below and ask for additional explanation if that doesn't make sense. But hopefully it did. And so that's kind of where we're headed. And I always appreciate your prayers and looking forward to having this additional time to be together as we try to, transition back into that mode. Still crazy times, and we certainly understand those of you that are not comfortable getting out yet. Understand that. Not trying to pressure anybody, and there are those that might be out otherwise, but they're taking care of folks and are trying to be cautious. I get all that. But it is good to be together, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to do that again. So let's just all hang in there, keep studying, keep investing in the process like we talked about in the sermon this morning, and God will bless us. We trust Him and put our lives in His hands, and that's the best place for Him to be. All right, so hopefully that made sense with where we're headed, and if it doesn't, like I said, ask for a little more explanation, a little more clarification. Be glad to give it to you. Otherwise, we'll see you guys soon.